Hi, I'm Emily Taylor with Collage Quilter. Today I'm going to walk through making a table runner, and I'm going to quilt this, but I've got a few things that I want to talk to you about. So first of all, I'll just show you what I've done. This is a piece of fabric that is 60 inches by 21 inches. That's perfect size for a little table runner. And you'll see on each end of the table runner is a lovely little collage of vegetables. So this is available, these patterns are available on my website, collagequilter.com. And here's this one. Now, you'll notice that the background fabric is rather busy and it's green. There's a lot of green in the collage. So I love this fabric. I just love the way it looks. I want it to be busy, but I thought that I would try a new technique. When I quilt a collage like this, I like to quilt really densely to ensure that all the fabric pieces have been tacked down with the quilting. That enables me to wash this project, and being a table runner, I want to be able to wash it. So what I'm going to do is normally what I do is I select fabric that matches the background of whatever I'm working on. But this time I thought I would maybe experiment and choose a little bit of a contrasting thread. So I've got this really dark bluish gray thread that I might try to use in some of this, just to give a little bit of shadow, a suggestion of a shadow. And we'll see how that goes. But then I also have all of my matching thread, the purple for the eggplant, and I've got this yummy orangey red for the tomato, and I've got various greens. Normally I like to match the thread, but in this case we're going to try something. As I said, we're going to try a contrast. So select your thread if you are following along and want to do a project like this. Let me show you the back side. So you can see too that I've got my batting all cut and my backing fabric. So check out that amazing backing fabric. It's perfect for a table runner because it's full of cabbage and lettuce. So I thought that would be really, really great on here. And I've just made my quilt sandwich, and I leave a little bit, a couple inches around the edge of the backing fabric and the batting. And when I'm all done with quilting, then we'll trim everything up and finish it off. So let's take this now over to my Bernina Q16 machine, and we'll get started on quilting this. Actually, before I get started, I like to use basting pins. So I'll throw a few basting pins on, and then I'll meet you at the machine. So I'll be just a second. Okay, here I am at my machine. I just want to remind you that before you start on a project, make sure that you've cleaned out, where the bobbin is with a little lint brush. I also lubed the machine so it's ready to go. I also have put in the needle that I'm using is a Schmetz non-stick, super non-stick needle. This is a universal size. I love this needle for when I get down to the collage part. It just helps me get through the adhesive really smoothly without gumming up my needle. The other thing that I want to point out is the thread that I'm using. I really like to use Isacord 40 weight thread. This is used in embroidery, and the reason that I like it is because it's 100% polyester. It's stronger than cotton thread, and so again, when considering that this is a collage that I'm going to be stitching through, now obviously the whole thing is not collage, but the collage area that I'll be stitching through, sometimes the thread will break if it's not a strong, durable thread. And I really love the colors that Isacord makes, and the sheen it's just not too shiny. So this is the thread that I have in my bobbin and in my top thread. They're two different colors to match the surface that I'm working on. So right now what I'm doing, I'm starting my quilting in the middle of the table runner, and I will move this way so that I'll just roll this up, and you can see that will work really well. And the reason I do that is because I just don't want to have, if I were to start on an edge and go that way to the other edge, I just don't want bubbles. So I always start right in the middle. And I'm just doing an all over kind of a tight stipple, and you'll see me do that. You can also see that I have binding, or I have pins basting pins to hold it in place. And I think that's all you need to know. So I will just move forward on this. You can watch me for a minute as I'm doing the quilting. And the other thing that I like to use, I know some people don't, but for me, it's just a personal preference. I really like my quilting gloves. They help me grip my fabric so that I feel like I'm in complete control of what is happening underneath my needle. So I'm going to get started quilting and you can come take a look-see. Okay, I'm finished with the quilting. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. So come on in close and let's take a look at it. I'm just going to point a few things out to you. Number one, the use of contrasting thread. That's actually purple thread on the carrots to kind of, mimic a sketch, doodle sketching with my thread. The meander stitch is look, I'm not a great quilter. That's why I choose the fabric that I do and the thread that I do. I like this busy fabric because it really hides any imperfections in my quilting. And then here's the other side. Let's take a look at these veggies. Here again, you can see I've used a variety of thread. The lighter thread to kind of emphasize where light might be hitting the asparagus, and then the darker thread to really emphasize kind of shadows. And it's just very subtle, but I'm really happy with the way this looks. You can see that here on the tomatoes too, darker thread where there might be a shadow, and then the lighter thread up on the rest of the tomato. So now I've finished this. I've cut away the extra batting and backing fabric, and now I'm ready to finish this project. So I'm not going to take you any further. You can decide if you want to do a facing on this or if you want to bind it. I think I haven't decided yet how I'm going to finish it, but one thing I am going to play around with is some hand stitching, some slow stitching, maybe to kind of emphasize around the vegetables or around the edges of the table runner. So I don't know, we'll see how this ends up, but I hope this has been a really helpful video for you about how I quilt this project. And if you are interested in finding this project, the pattern for the collage part is available at collagequilter.com. So I'm Emily Taylor. Thank you again for joining me. We'll see you again soon.